Hey guys, it's Jason back with another video. I am the creator of I Am Legion for Dying Light 1 and 2, and I am back with a final video for 1.09, or 0 0.9. It has been a crazy week, so I am settling down here to finish up development, and this has been about 2 weeks of development on and off. For a grand total of probably around 20 hours worth of development for this update, and I have a whole list of things on GitHub that I've replaced, and so there will be a huge list of updates coming for 0 0.9. So as you can see here, starting from March 5th, let's see, actually March 6th, all the way up to here. So we have about 32 updates coming, and I'm working on even more right now. So what I'm working on right now is actually going through and redoing the actual HUD and map system. And as you can see here, it looks like we have a typo for one of those, and so it's actually zeroing out everything to where we get those zeros. And so I will have to go back to the drawing board here. I was hoping that that would be a little bit more ready to go here, but let me go line by line here really quick and try to figure out what happened and what changed there. But basically, more than likely, if it were a Boolean value, icon swing close. Okay, there it is. More than likely, if it was a Boolean value, it would have errored out. So basically, what I need to do here, let's go ahead and do a backup. So this is the more fun part of the modding. So I was really hoping to start diving into moving into the other things, but I've launched out, and so I'm going to actually go ahead and throw up the Discord channel as well, and we'll go ahead and continue on development here. So I might have to kind of focus here on doing this, but let me show you the process as usual of how I go about fixing these bugs, so we can kind of do this rule out process, because obviously it's not going to be good to dial all the way back, so we won't dial all the way back here. I've got my Discord going. If you have any questions, if you want to follow along, please jump on the Discord. I do not have as much focus on the Twitch, so if you are asking questions on there, I do apologize if I miss those. So let's go ahead and save these changes here. Improvements. GUI. System. And basically what we'll do here, so we'll go ahead and push that out. We'll go ahead and bring up the defaults over here. To my right is the default file, over to the right is my new version. And so if you watch here, you'll see that we have quite a lot of changes here. But essentially what I do when I start to have these kind of problems is starting from the bottom, because usually I've already gone pretty far down the list here. But the other ones, I think it actually might save time for me to just crawl through really quickly here and make sure that there's not a syntax error. I believe it would actually crash out if there were a syntax error, but I'm not entirely sure for this system. It seems to just kind of kill all the icons with this system, so I'm not sure. But the last thing I was messing with here were the survivor systems. So essentially what I've done here is, one of the things that I don't really enjoy about the game was the color scheme for the UI. It didn't feel very intense at all. It felt very comical, very light, very game driven in a not horror-esque kind of way. And so what I've done is I've tried to go in here and there we go. There's a syntax error. Whew. All right, so let's actually go through here and say search, find, So we did find one. Let's see if we say find next. Just see if we start going through here. This will be obnoxious, but this might be the fastest way to do it here. But essentially, because of the color format on here, it didn't really lend to the whole world trying to murder you kind of thing. It was more open world, fun. There we go. There's another one. So let's say this one. Here's a double. Wow. Okay. Say search there. So this is where I'm getting issues um, with having this replacement thing. So there's another one. And to save time, let's go in here and do this. That didn't happen but once, but it does look like for this one copy and replace, it did mess up. So maybe that got it. Nope. There's another one. Oof. So that's a sad day. All right. So we're going to replace this. Yeah, these syntax errors usually kind of a benefit of the system is that if you have a syntax error for the most part, it will crash out the game. But as you can see here, with me fixing this one, it didn't actually crash out the game, which is interesting. So it loaded up the game all the way, and which is nice, I guess, is that you don't immediately crash, but at the same time, it does lend to the whole thing of like, okay, now I don't know whether or not it's a Boolean value. I don't know. Usually, I will say though, with the Boolean values, the whole thing will crash immediately. Like you're just done. But in this case, there's some more. So, man, I don't know what happened there, but that's not cool. All right, so fix all of those. There's 9 of those, and again, amazing that it launched and actually ran through. But so I'm hoping when we launch here in a second, it will actually all work. But essentially, the idea here is that I've replaced all the colors with a color scheme that I think lends a little bit more to the intensity of the game. And then also what I've done is I've gone through on my config file and it got really long, but essentially you now have full control over the interface. So if you want to go and change colors, make your own color palette, you can. And so I'm going to have to do some documentation here in the future to kind of give an idea of what these colors are maybe so that it's a little bit faster for people. I personally just use something like Photoshop where I take and I go in here and plug and play these numbers to find out what we have. You can also use a lot of websites, but I guess the point is that it can be a little tedious to go in here and have to paste each one of these to see what the color is. But essentially, this should let you see what I have set as the color, and then we can move forward from there. There was also quite a few options that I wanted to give to the end user. We always heard that they were going to give more control over the interface, but in the end, I don't feel like they actually ever did. And so we currently have this idea of the different colors in the interface, but also down below, I've added some conditions as well. So if you wanted to toggle off, for example, miscellaneous icons, then you just hit false here and it turns off miscellaneous icons. If you want to turn those back on, you just set this to true, and you can kind of pick and choose what shows up, what doesn't. For example, there's this bandit icon or bandit camps, which that's actually default to false. But there was a couple of them in here that by default were set to false that you could turn on if you wanted. So personally, I like less. I'm a more minimal HUD kind of person, but depending on your preference, you can go and turn those things on now. So let's go ahead and launch in and make sure this is all working. I cannot believe I loaded in and it immediately had those bugs, but let's go ahead and load in here. The file size for the mod has essentially maybe more than doubled. It's not tripled yet, but I think it went from about 1.8 7 to almost 5 megabytes. So I have a lot of changes in this version. And I'm a little nervous about that because it could mean that we have a lot of new bugs, not a lot of new feedback loops, and kind of the whole hope here is that I'm doing the final push here on things that I want to change before the 1.0 official release, and this will allow me to get feedback from the users to find out, did they like it, did they not like it, and so I guess we'll find out. So hopefully this will load in here. We still have a bug. Looks like a couple of them. Nah. So we still have a bug. So let me go in here real quick and go ahead and add some of these. And I guess that's a good point. I think I can see there that we shouldn't have any doubles, but just to make sure. So there were actually 2 doubles. That would probably actually cause an issue. It's annoying. So let's go ahead and stage that. Let's go ahead and stage this. And we will go ahead and I guess I'm going to launch in again just to confirm. So let's go ahead and grab my scripts. Yeah. While that's loading, I'm going to go ahead and crack a window here. Let's see here. So I think a status update, so to just go ahead and kind of start to summarize. So one of the things that I've discovered that was kind of, I don't know, very disappointing on my side is that they have this concept of modules built into the game. They have things like the auto aim module and the chase module and several other module systems that essentially, so we're still broken. So we're going to have to find out what what actually caused the issue. So what I like to do here is go ahead and do a compare, and let's see if we can. It could have potentially right there at the end. I started adding Boolean values to like showing 3D. But that being said, it is showing certain parts here. So let me go in here and say, okay, so this is the mod. The right is the original, or rather, yeah, the right is the original. So we're going to go ahead and go up to about midway here. Place all the way down. If we update that compare, we should see that half of it has now been returned to default. Go over to fork, we can confirm that a bunch of these have been replaced. Let's go ahead and go back here. Again, not the most fun part of this, but hopefully I can show you guys some results here in a second. And the challenge will be is that if it really is due to a replace code or one of the codes that applies all the way down, then I'm going to have to go like line by line, which that's going to be really tedious. But hopefully that won't be the case. Knock on wood. Let's see here. I did test a little bit earlier and it was working. I just didn't back up during that time. So I was talking about the modules. So with the modules, they essentially created these different modules that do things auto aim, chase, a bunch of different ones, even down to like jumping. So the ability for the AI to climb and jump. Those aren't things that I've discovered you can write. So they're pretty much making these modules to where the modules are hidden away somehow, somewhere, probably in files that were just never released, kind of thing. And oh, good. All right, so you can see here we're back. So good. At least we have some progress there. So what we're going to do is we'll go back to fork, discard these changes, reload, pair, and then it was up to here. So I think I'm just going to crawl through really quick. So use colors, peacekeepers, so essentially you have these let's see, color, counter, color. And these modules are basically set up in a way that you can't actually go create new ones. So you can go in there and essentially modify ones that are already available. But if you want to create, if you want to create new systems, you currently cannot do that. So because of that, it's really put a limitation on what I can actually do as far as expanding the code. Now, as it goes, um, if I am able to essentially reroute it to use code that's already available, then that's fine. But actually going in there and saying like, okay, I'm going to write a new AI or that kind of thing. Even there's also some code somewhere that's basically saying like, okay, um, I'm gonna go and look and find these new uh, values that are being created. Um, all of that has to go through the presets human AI values. And what was really frustrating is that the modder or the developers have absolutely updated those numbers since the release, but for whatever reason, I'm not able to find or I'm not able to mimic how they were doing it and get it to work. And so I think what's happening is that they have basically set this up to where, sure, you can do that. You can go and add all you want, but it doesn't know how to incorporate it into the game. And the code that actually bakes it all together and actually loads it has already been pre-compiled essentially. So I found several things that were like pre-compilation lists that I guess are kind of a hint that potentially it's a no-go, or that they're doing a pre-compile somewhere in the editor. They're building everything, and then because they've built it, it has to be built again by the engine itself. It's not something that you can just go add arbitrarily. We do some of that at my work, and so I'm guessing could actually. I mean, I don't think it would be these bandit locations, but I'm just not really seeing anything. Yeah. So what I'll do is let me go up here to the. We won't go as far up this time. We'll just go up to this top one here, down, and trial and error. Let's find out. It probably is a Boolean value at this point because I didn't really see a syntax error. So let's see here. So if everything has to be pre-compiled, as I was mentioning, then the challenge is that until they create the tools to expand, or they give more example use cases of how they expand the system in the future, there's just really not that much that can be done as far as modifying the AI to the point where you're creating new skins or you're creating new AI, that kind of thing. But that is something that I'll continue to look at. I'm hoping there's like a definition file or something somewhere that I'm missing. But most of the work that went into this update was focused on trying to get that AI system to work and to create new AI. That was kind of the hope for this update. And then we got the update or patch, and then I had to repair that. And then by the time I got on the other side of all that, it was just I was way too far down in the weeds. I've already created a bunch of new AI, but the challenge is okay, which means if we go in here and we do the compare, that means that the error is somewhere between here and here. So what I can do here is now that we've verified that, what I can do is I can undo. Let's go to right here. Go ahead and pull back in the code that we lost there. We'll go above it, and let's just go ahead and do one final confirmation here that this is actually true, that it's not. Code below. So go ahead and save this. Um, so that being said, the work that I did, I think the really the big limiter here for that was is that I was hoping to also go and write. Um, I was hoping to write new AI and then also build upon the AI systems that were already there. So writing different variations of the special infected and that kind of thing. And technically, some of that could be done. The problem is that I can't make them jump. I can't make them do really new things. They can just mimic one of the other zombies if they currently do that behavior on some of the things. And so, for example, even going in there to the animations, you know, basically what I've been doing is messing with a lot of the locomotion files under the data presets. And I'm glad I stumbled onto this early because um, the other stuff doesn't work. So if you go and you like try to dial all these things up by doing the like little things here and there, um, it just doesn't work. So really, you have the option of replace or not replace. Okay, so that confirms it is really just something in the in between there. So if we do a compare, um, mess that up because basically what I need to do here. Well, first let's do the compare here, here, down, and actually, basically, never mind. We just need to start going line by line up here and just kind of figure out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with probably the bottom half here. Let's grab like these lines. Go up to. I really have a hunch that it's the encounters here. So I'm actually, those should be fine. I think it's these encounters. So if we go in here and we grab these encounters, let's confirm that this is mostly Boolean values. So the other ones are just changing color. So let's go in here and confirm that that it's the encounter code that's doing it. So with the Demolisher, for example, I had to end up using the locomotion files, which that was the thing is I discovered that the locomotion files can't actually be added onto, so you can't actually even find the real locomotion files that they have. When I went in and tried to change the locomotion files that they have, the ones that it's referencing in the script in the data presence is locomotion underscore and then a name. But when you go and you search, um, you can't easily find that exact lineup. You can find it roughly. There are other files out there, but the calls aren't the same. Like there's a missing link in between, and I think what that is that it's pointing to a repository or a database of files somewhere, or not files, but it's pointing towards a directory, so to speak. Yeah, so it's the encounter code. Like the looks like the loot files are a little dark there, so I'm gonna actually pull those up while I'm at it. But so let's see, loot. Let's go in here and do like 55, 55, 55. Okay, so we've confirmed that it really is the encounter code. So and it's the encounter end game code, I believe. So let's go in here and say discard. Let's only do these two right here. Just these encounter. And so I guess what I was leading to is so the Demolisher is a combination of different locomotions for the viral. And so because of that, he will climb. He does go up buildings. He'll crawl around, kind of thing. He throws stuff at you, and so his immediate behavior right now is to just hurl things at you. I think before sharing this, I'm going to go through and actually increase some of the cooldown time on that because I want him to essentially be like the tank from Left 4 Dead, um, or kind of draw on that similar behavior. And so, because of that, he is currently just hurls nonstop. So he's just constantly hurling things at you, which can make it really intense when you're trying to run along the wall or get away. So it is not the encounter code. So it's something below the encounter code. So my hunch was off there. Go here and say, so if it's not this, then it's more than likely, for whatever reason, that would be interesting if it would be one of these. This is really kind of the last place that it could be. Let me go in here and say, but essentially the whole point of this here is that yes, it's essentially very boring, but at the same time, I get to keep my code. I don't have to toss anything out. It is time consuming, and obviously this isn't ideal, but at the same time, the result is there, so I can use the config. And this is kind of how making these config files has been. Um, just kind of a back and forth, because the problem is that you never know how it wants to actually access the data. It doesn't directly tell you if it's a float value, if it's a string value. Some of them are obvious, but with some of them you have to sit there and obviously if it has a decimal it's a float, but at the same time some of those values, they don't have a decimal point in there actually. um, I've seen a couple where it's like, I don't know why, but there's no decimal, but so it's not those. Okay, so if it's not that, it's not that, and it's not that, then it has to be the UV. That or this undiscovered stuff down below. Let's go in here and replace the
Hello?
UV. Hey, Broken, how's it going, man?
I'm doing decent. How about you, man?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to get 0.9 out. I'm
Nice.
I keep hitting little things here and there that I'm trying to clean up before releasing, and so it's getting pushed all the way up to the hour here, but
Jeez.
slowly but surely.
Yeah, it's one way to do it.
Yeah. How's your evening going?
Pretty decent. I've been playing, just going back into Dying Light 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you were popping back up on all the chats. So, is this the how many times going through for is this for you?
Second time still.
Oh, okay, cool,
Yeah, I'm
cool.
just
Did
running
you
through
do
all the
the
side
first
quests.
one? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, right now I'm just running through the side quests.
Nice. Did you do the first one with I Am Legion, or did you just do the default?
The first time was vanilla. I'm doing the whole
Okay.
game through I Am Legion now.
Oh, okay. Are you doing casual or ultimate?
Ultimate.
Nice.
It is a pain through nighttime.
I bet. Well, it's about to be worse. Sorry.
Oh no. I haven't fought many goons, but
Yeah.
when I did, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
They just
Well,
start running at me.
I've now got the banshees working for the chase, but then I didn't stop there. I also added several of the other guys as well. So chase is now pretty harsh. You have to get out of the area kind of thing. But I'm hooking it all up to the config files so that you guys can kind of define how you want it.
Yeah.
So. See.
Honestly, you're doing God's work right now with the game.
I'm trying, man. All the little things. Okay, so wait a second. If it's what I'm doing now is I've made the oh, I wonder if it's these. I've made the config files for the GUI so that you guys can make your own GUI settings kind of thing. That was kind of a last minute. I wanted to try to get that in before pushing kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I redid all of it, but then I hit a snack, so that's what I'm doing right now.
Fair
I
enough.
had it, and then it started messing up on me.
Nice. Doing these missions that require you to be on foot, like on the ground level, it's terrifying.
Yeah. How many? I mean, overall, how many of those would you say that you have? Like, where you actually have to get down into the street?
I'm doing one called the Deserter. It's on the PK side.
Yep.
It is. Apparently, I'm looking for Bart, like
Hmm.
so the guy that was deserting.
Yep.
It is very difficult because it's in the main central loop, like the big part of the city.
Yep. Do you find that in the second city? So I've one of the things I added. A couple people were talking about the tools that you can use. and a lot of people were saying like grenades are fairly useless at the start and that kind of thing. Um, I fixed a lot of that, and so when you like find an area that's like really crowded, do you try to like run them out of the area, or are you like trying to kill them all, or how are you?
Just like doing circles around them, doing loops around them. Since most of
So
them are
you get by.
biomes, they just slow down when they get close.
Yeah,
So it's fairly simple, but it's terrifying. Like it activates a fight or flight reflex.
nice,
But
good.
yeah, I haven't had that happen in a hot minute.
Let me see here. Hit compare. This is now getting confusing. So we say, yeah, I was playing around with it the other day, and I was super excited to. Let me also go ahead and this will be a little bit easier to probably cut down the desktop audio here, so there's less overlap. But I was playing through the other day, and I'm just like super happy with the balance now. And so I'm very excited to actually do my official 1.0 playthrough.
Nice. Yeah, the fact it's not even 1.0 is like the most shocking part, I guess.
What's that?
The fact that this mod isn't even like officially 1.0 is insane.
Oh yeah, no, it's got and there's going to be stuff after that. I think I really am starting to hit a wall. This last update with 1.9 is I think I've challenged pretty much most of the systems left in the game, and it's just it's been kind of frustrating because there I don't know if there's much further I can go with the concept that I all the concepts that I wanted to do. Now, if anybody has like specific stuff they would like to see, I can try for it. But
Yeah.
like with some of the things that I wanted to do, it's like hitting lots of walls. So I don't know if okay.
Honestly, just the way it is like now, it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, I always like to for fun when I'm hanging out, I like to go through and read articles and reviews about the game, like the base game, and it helps give me some inspiration for what I should try to fix or what I should try next, kind of thing. So let me see here. I guess let's just do one at a time here. Hey, Broken, do you mind switching it to like push to talk or anything?
Oh yeah, does that echo?
A little bit,
Is it
and
okay?
I've got live, so I know that it's gonna like double up on there. No worries, you're cool. I just thought I'd mention it.
Yeah, I'll do that real quick. Hold up.
Thanks, man. Let's see. Let's say fork. So what I'm doing here is I'm going through, and if I'm running into this bug and this bug is keeping the system from loading in the icons and it's being kind of hit or miss with it, then what I have to do at this point is just scrap the code in a block. Hopefully you can narrow down the block of the code that is causing the problem. If you can get that, then at least maybe you're down to 100 lines of code and not like 17,000 lines of code. And so if you can get down to this point, I would recommend just getting that block cleared out, start fresh, list out what you need to go in and redo, and then just test line by line of what you make the change, load it up, make sure it works, go back in. Because especially when doing things like the inventory or the loot system, it's so easy to brick the system. To where no inventory, no, like nothing shows up, no lootables, that kind of thing, that you wouldn't even know. I mean, you have to essentially run around and kill a bunch of bandits or kill a bunch of zombies just to find out that you messed it up. And so the testing cycles is just, it takes forever.
It's like tedious.
Yeah. But you can see here's the new color interface. So we've got some new colors, which are based on the actual colors for I Am Legion. But also this will match, or this will make it more open so you guys can make your own colors. So whatever you want your colors to be, if you want your colors to be dark blue or whatever, it's actually super straightforward now to go in and design your own UI and icons and all that good stuff. So let's see. Next, let's see what we got left. So the encounters, I absolutely need these encounters to not show up kind of thing unless I want them to. So let's go there next.
Hey man, I'm gonna drop that off for now.
Okay.
Just gonna drop and say hi and all that.
Cool, man. No, I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Happy gaming. Hope you have fun. All right. So let's head back over to the config file here. We have our encounter code. So let's go in here to use encounters and basically use. So there's our color. Move these up. And so we've got our encounter, we've got our encounter infected here. Let's at least get all of our color working again. So we go through here, we can say show infected. Here's the reward. So map encounter reward. Let's also go in here. Ah, let's see. So infected. They don't actually have a color for this one reward, which is interesting. I don't think I messed that up, but so then we have the actual in-game encounters as well. So let's go through and actually add those. In-game. In-game. And then the specials, I did the same as well. So basically, that right there. So if we do those, I think that's pretty much a majority of the ones besides the Boolean values, other than the undiscovered. So there is an undiscovered down below. Let's actually just save the undiscovered for a second and focus on, did we actually clean up the issue? For our saves, make sure the saves, yep, everything's saved. And let's go ahead and pull that in. Let's go ahead and launch. And while we're at it, I'll also go ahead and have the GUI search for color here. Let's go ahead and see if we can pull out some of the other colors as well. Okay, so we have our encounters updated, no bugs, no issues. Next, let's try to get those last few remaining Boolean values. So if we pull those directly off of, well, actually first let's finish the color. Make sure the color is all working. I'm going to actually, well, I won't stage just yet. Let's go in here and just say, let's go down to the pair here. The icon. Undiscovered. I've created this undiscovered. Discovered. Should be good there. And then above this, maybe? Yeah, these neutral. So there is this, maybe this was the one. So we basically have our activity too hard. So let's go over here and say settings, activity too hard. Let's grab those. And what we'll do is, well, we don't need to do this outside of here. Let's just go ahead and see, got rid of that semicolon. That broke it all. So let's get rid of that. And then for that last one, I think I just did this color white. So then if we go in here and say, and this is kind of for the hope that, I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe when it's calling two in the same line, maybe that's what's causing it, is that it's having to call two functions in the same line, or two methods. Let's just go ahead and add this. I think that would have been the last. The color, that's interesting. It's saved, right? No, I guess there's another one. So let's see. Let's go in here and say find. Ah, okay. So essentially, it's just these doubles. So let's go in here and just do this. Nope. I don't have it selected there. That's not it. It's this. Yeah, here, so this and this. And so that should be all of the color. Yep. Interesting. So there is an encounter in-game one here that I think is that I did wrong earlier, but I don't know why that would. It would just use the color that was not what I originally designed, but I don't imagine that would cause everything to break. But let's just go ahead and load up here. Okay, so all of the color is properly implemented. The only things missing are the actual configurations. So what I'm going to do is I can't push this out yet because it's going to show me the like it's going to lose the changes. So I'm going to create a backup file, and then that backup file will also then show me what I changed from here. So let's go through and just finish this up. So we have the radar edge for the encounter. So starting one by one here, let's go back up and say encounter in game or encounter. And basically what I created was the ability to show these on the edge of the map kind of thing. So if we say show encounter icon, so first is do we show the encounter edge icon on the 3D GUI? And then do we show the edge of the icon as we move through the map? So those are both set to true by default. Next, let's go to the encounter infected, which I think this was the infected. Interesting. So search real quick. No. Okay. So let's just actually say show encounter infected, because I have just a regular infected. That can be a little confusing. So let's say if we want this to show on the map, also make sure that all the semicolons are at the end of these. They are. So if I want it to show it on the HUD at all, and if I want it to show on the edge. Okay. So if we go back over to fork, let's confirm. So that's now going to show different because it has the show on map edge, show on radar edge. Oh, hang on. There's a huh. That actually might be what's causing this, is that radar edge or map edge. Interesting. So if we go up to like, let's say like Screamer and say show 3D location can be marked, show on map, show on radar. Go up and look at some other examples here, just because I think I'm missing something here. So we say show on 3D. So show on radar edge. Mm. Because I think that there was this idea of can be marked. I think that's the problem. Is I was saying this idea of like a marked edge, show marked edge, show on radar edge. So I guess it really is just showing, or I guess I have done this for most of these. So it's not the map edge, it's not the map edge, it's the radar edge. So for this next one, on radar edge. So for the infected edge, radar edge, save. And then the reward. Here is the edge, so radar edge. And what I'll do at this point is let's just go ahead and test. We only have a couple of left. We only have a couple left. Um, so let's go ahead and load up and confirm that this is actually working still before we get too much deeper here. Upload. Loading. Let's go and see what our results found. So I think for this, I've got everything. I think I'm actually going to go one lower and actually say, let's go in here and say GUI, HUD, and then select this folder, and then from here say color. Files, color, and then let's go test the game out. For the file types for the HUD, they have these GUI files. I'm not sure that I can actually inject into a GUI file. And so because I can't inject into a GUI file, I think some of this is going to have to be a combination of things can be edited. Okay, so we're still in the green. So let's just go and finish up. So we say the special encounter are done. So it's the bandits. So we go in here and say next is the bandit end game. And potentially the problem with this is that I used the end game true or false. I mean, I think that should be fine. Show encounter end game. And that's this. Okay, yeah, all right. So say show encounter icon end game. Copy that. And this is the icon. So then we can add that to the icon. And then with the edge, say encounter edge end game. And then this is going to be the radar. And then with the special infected, same thing. So infected icon. So say show 3D. Then for the edge, say radar edge. Okay. And it looks like that might be the case, is that a couple of these were the map edge instead of the radar edge. So then let's go down to the last one, which is the UV. We have the UV, let's say show UV light icon. Need to go in here and say, and there it is. So it's the radar edge. No, okay, yep, that's, sorry, a moment there. So what, show 3D location. Don't actually see. Can hide by invisibility, can be marked. Location can be interior cold, and show 3D location. Okay, not sure why that's all the way there by itself, but then let's go to the edge as well. Say radar edge. We should be good. Yeah, because it's map edge there on a couple of those. So let's go in and test and confirm, but that should be everything. For the different ones like the crosshair and 3D location and all that good stuff. Basically what I need to do is first we'll organize the files to where the files are a little bit easier to read. And then we will see, I mean, essentially what I might put out in the future is kind of versions of these based on the colors, kind of create like a custom UI pack that's an optional so that people can get it. But essentially the biggest thing is I want to get rid of some of the color that's in there. It looks a little cheesy. And so I think it'll be a lot easier here. Let's see. Okay. So we have all of our icons. Let's go and test really quick. I like how my stamina is going away like I'm running, but I've been restricted to walk. which I've still attempted to get rid of, and that just has not happened yet. So essentially, in the config, you now have the ability to turn on and off the howlers as well. So the howler icon will also now be part of that configuration, and so that should help show you guys kind of the new in here. So they're currently hearing a lot of the noise down there. So I'm not actually sure why they've gotten so caught up on the spitter down here. But as you can see, we now have a Demolisher up here chasing us. Oof. Go, go, go. Okay, so let's continue forward a little bit. That was an interesting location because I think like a lot of that comes down to like the AI pathing is still not very good in some areas. So some areas you'll have the AI just kind of like lose you. And I think that's due to the baking of the nav mesh, which I have found the nav mesh files. So I've thrown in a little like special, you know, little special note to try to address some of that here in the future. But we'll have to see how it goes. So basically, what I'm going to do here is in the GUI, I'm going to bring over to our HUD all of our files. So if we go to, and this is the latest version, so if we go in here and say HUD, oof, well, we're going to bring all of this up. Go in here and say, like the base 3D locations. Image UI, it's interesting. And with some of these, we're just going to have to see what we get kind of thing. I wish I could, maybe I'll try to see if there's a way to grab and convert a lot of these things. Just because I'm not really sure this is smoothly here. So UV flare, HP holder, boss HP holder. Cable, call for help, campfire, widget. So they have all the widgets in here as well. So all of those are also kind of nested in there. So option, icon, chase, city alignment, co-op condition, co-op health bar, player location, revive. So we'll grab our crosshair here, damage numbers, dark edges, interesting, screen depth, default icon, pull that over, the dialog wheel, symbols. It's interesting that they have two of those, double trigger down counters, bacon indicators. Oh, I think the holder is just going to be everything spawns, indicator widget, life level. It's probably our HP. Typo, those are always fun to see. Made. There's the HUD itself. Hiding spot. Activity button. Buff widget. Objective. Objective area. Buttons. Objectives. A screen. Well, HUD PC. Let's pull that in. Actually, I think this is the texture list, right? Yeah. There's our colors. Hmm. I could save some time. See, see where we have these. Just that one place. Save some time. All right. So let's start there. I don't think with these I can actually input anything as well. So the HUD green, that's going to be the first one to go. Let's go in here to my, this is in my version, right? Yep. Okay, let's go over to Photoshop and that color. Color doesn't exist. That's why I thought it looked a little weird. How many is this over by? There's 6. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's assume that the last two numbers don't mean shit. And go in here and say something like here. Something like that. Let's capitalize these. And just see what we get. So let's see for this red. What kind of red are we working with here? That might not be a good idea. We'll see. White. Stamina normal. Like this. We got an orange. Stamina recovering. We've got a gray. Got a red, and then we've got a yellow. Let's see which yellow is. More of a ability yellow there. Okay. I'm wondering if instead of going and trying to mess with all these individual ones, if we could probably just benefit from this one. So let's test a few things here. So first, let's go and upload this really quickly. Make sure we didn't break anything. First, oh no, oh no. Every now and then, I think it's a Windows 11 thing. It's a fun one. Close this and launch. So I still see some green up there at the top. The stamina bar is green. That's interesting because based on what we were just seeing, that shouldn't be green. Refill should be gray. Stamina should be red. It's interesting. We go in here. Take a long time. It just refills. So I don't think that actually did anything. As a first one to test here, probably going to try to... Yeah, so it changes with the color of like... So it goes to white, so green is safe. White is you're in the open. I kind of like that system. For the UV, let's use this as a test. So this is going to be immunity. Time left widget. What happens if I just go in here? I don't think I can line that out, but what if I go in here and just do that? And then we take these files. Should only need to do the GUI. Okay, so it didn't really get rid of that. So I think without diving too much further, I want to make sure I can get this this mod released soon. So let's just get down to brass tacks here. For the HUD, if we go in here, so we had the GUI HUD. I didn't get all the way down here. So we had the GUI HUD. Let me finish this. So yeah, HUD objectives, immunity time left, immunity widget, which dang it, could have been that. Right underneath that is the immunity widget. Let's try a couple more as well. So let's say like stamina. We know that that one is always going to be there. So let's just go ahead and save. It sucks that we have to do this again, but if this works, then this will be a lifesaver instead of having to go to each individual file. So let's take a look real quick. Hey, Void, how's it going? How are you doing tonight?
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
Good, good.
Yeah, really appreciate you filling in. Developers couldn't even themselves say that.
No, thanks, man. Well, after seeing some of the reviews and playing the game myself, I think a little bit more could be done there. But yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks for the support, and thanks for saying so. I appreciate. I think you've been on the Discord for a while now. So thanks for. Oh, hey, look at that success. That is nice. Okay, so that is going to save us a lot of time here. So essentially, instead of people having to go in here and do a bunch of modifications to the system, they should be able to actually just go in here and get rid of the pieces of the HUD that they don't want. That really doesn't help a lot of people because you still have to have a knowledge of how to open these files and that kind of thing. So what I'll probably do is end up creating a few different configurations, maybe even tie those configurations to the difficulty. So it's saying, like, if you want to play Ultimate Survivor, then you lose things like the radar, you have to use the map system. I don't know how mean I want to be with that, but essentially then you just create optional files to say, like, Casual Survivor has some of the more obvious, the things that we obviously don't want, like crosshairs, that kind of thing. If people don't want crosshairs, no offense if everybody loves crosshairs, I personally hate them. But that way people can kind of say, I want a vanilla experience, I want, whatever they need for the different ones. Stamina bar, there's no way I could actually pull off getting rid of the stamina bar, except he does do the heavy breathing. So if you did get rid of the stamina bar, it would help make it a little bit more immersive. So maybe we'll have to play here and just see what we get. But before lining these out, this is the list of all the different possible GUI elements. I need to go and look first to see what they're offering us inside those GUI elements. So for example, I've fixed the night immunity. So one of the alterations that I did, it didn't make a lot of sense to me that, like, as soon as you get out of UV light, you're dying. Like, you have 5 minutes to go enjoy the night. You have to get back to base. I didn't like that. What I'm trying to build out, and what I've run into difficulty because a lot of these immunity systems are hidden, is this idea that if you get bitten, then you have a certain amount of time to get back to base and get under a UV light or use an injector. Personally, I'm leaning more towards the injector because basically, if you had like a timer, now you have a countdown before you die. If you don't want to die, you have to use an injector. That being said, I feel like a lot of people would just kind of like, they'd be like, I don't care, I'll just die. So I don't know there, but I think I am switching it. So right now, I've greatly increased the amount of time that you get so that you can go out, enjoy the night, go into buildings, hide, take your time. Um, and a lot of those systems, like 5 minutes, just was not enough to go and actually explore. And so I've gotten rid of that. But like with that, so if I've gotten rid, or if I've increased the time, if in the future I want to, which by the way, is a side note, if you step into chemicals, that doesn't matter. So the chemicals still do damage. You can't now run outside the map, kind of thing. The chemicals will still kill you. So the thing that I need to figure out is, how do I hide the widget but not the chemical part of it? Which I guess the things, I'll just look here. So there is no chemical system here. So I'm guessing the immunity widget is where they've got all of it. So we need to do a couple of things here. First, we need to go to our JSON formatter. We're just going to go in here and clear this, and let's go grab the immunity widget, copy all of that code, go to our JSON formatter. We'll have this process it. And Void, since I got you on the line, I'll pick your brain. So, if you heard the last part about the immunity timer and all this other stuff, you have the countdown. You have a very short amount of time that you can go enjoy the night, that kind of thing. Where do you weigh in? Like, what are your thoughts on your ideal gameplay of how much time would you like to be able to spend at night? Do you not like the timer? Do you think the timer actually adds some scariness to it? Um, and if I do have the option to where I can make it to where if you go inside like a dark zone, now all of a sudden your timer drops faster. So you could add kind of a fear level there to where it's not the open world night, it's the dark zones. Those cause you to go like, your blood increases, whatever. So then, now your immunity rate drops.
I feel like I'm on a different side of this. I enjoyed the immunity timer actually when I started the game.
Okay.
Just because it's so short, it actually provided some like I had to personally look for the injectors and such at night and such.
Sure.
But later on in the game, it becomes more of just an annoyance thing to have on there. But it's not a good thing to me.
Gotcha.
I think the dark zone idea is pretty good, having it tick down faster. And another thing I really want to do is making the toxic zones degrade your timer faster, because those didn't really do it for me.
Okay.
But, yeah.
As in, like, you could spend too much time in the toxic zones. You felt like it was too much padding.
Yeah.
Okay. If you had to, so assuming that that's one of those areas that if I drop it too much, now everybody's going to complain like I can't get past this one part. Assuming that's probably going to be the case. What are your thoughts on like how much you would decrease that by, to make that feel natural? Just if just off the top of your head, you could think of like, how much of an overhead it was.
Most likely scenario I could see is doing different presets for both the Ultimate Survivor and the Normal Survivor.
Sure.
And having the normal one be the same, I guess, or a little bit higher, like maybe 0.1,
Sure.
0.2.
Sure.
Then you have the Ultimate be like 0.3, 0.4. Not that much, just there just needs to be a little more urgency there, I feel. So
Gotcha. Okay. Sorry to ask to grill you all the questions there. I was just kind of curious while I had you on the line. Let's see. So let's find out if this is our pink. There are several pink values now. So this is an orange. The red. White. Red. Okay. So those are all. So they probably don't have one that you can set for that pink. But so let's see, chemical. So player and chemical zone. So essentially, what I would need to do here, I think, to get this working how I want it, is only show the chemical zone, not the immunity, if the immunity was like actually all the way gone. But based on our conversation here, it sounds like the immunity would just. So what are your thoughts on if I tied it to like a level? Like, for example, at the start of the game, you have less time. That makes you have to go faster at night. You're more scared, kind of thing. But as the game progresses, you level up, and then essentially your immunity gets so boosted, so high that you really don't have to care about it anymore, kind of thing.
I feel I feel like that would be good for like the normal, but for the for the Ultimate Survivor though, I feel
Yeah.
like you could get away with reversing that
Okay.
almost.
So that as you play, it gets more difficult.
Yeah, as you play, get more full. It starts off pretty easy with those immunity zones, but as I said before, you eventually reach like level 8, level 7, and I have over like 80 inhibitors, and you just have like 10 minutes, and then you like 7 minutes immunity zones, and it's
Yeah.
not really a worry.
So would you think that most of that is tied to your armor sets?
Yeah, most likely.
Or, you know, is there a leveling system that's already in there that is causing it to no longer be a concern, or is it mainly your armor?
It's mostly the inhibitors, because as you know, the inhibitors they increase your every one you get, they increase your immunity to the every level up for your strength or stamina. They increase your immunity to the toxic areas. They allow you more time at night and in those toxic areas.
Right. So
And I feel like one of the arguments for that would be like they're not correlating to the story not being realistic, because technically Aiden is supposed to be leveling up and getting stronger with those inhibitors. During the story, you can see that actually affects him negatively. So I feel like it worked pretty well in those aspects there.
gotcha. And so I'd probably just need to I'd probably just tie that, like, you know, like we're discussing, is I could probably put it in the config files, but I could also tie it to the difficulty levels. So that way, when Survivor comes along, because currently it's only casual Survivor, there will be Survivor here soon, and then Ultimate as well. So for Ultimate players, you know, they have to care about that kind of thing. Let me actually just pull that up really quick. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's actually a couple of quick things I need to do, and then I am going to release this update. Because I also have to record the videos and everything, so it's going to be a while. So let's see here. Say, because if I release 0.9 and I don't get some awesome videos, people are going to be like, what the hell? What does this even do? So, combat.
You'll have if you do that, you'll have one or two of the amazing individuals that say, "Oh, it's a virus. That's what show us anything."
Exactly. Let's see. So for the throw, actually go up on this to like 8.
These are demolishers.
Yeah, so I redid some of their code. They're now going to climb up the buildings and try to murder you at all times, kind of thing. And so, yeah, they're actually pretty creepy. I figured out a way to make the zombies stick. So even though you die, they stick in the world. And now when you enter into a chase, you have a probability of spawning new special infected. And so because of that, areas that you were just in that you died are now covered, possibly in special infected, maybe, depending on how long you were there. So things like Demolishers hunting around the area for you is actually, I've had a couple of them come searching for me, and it's pretty creepy.
I can just imagine like doing one of my playthroughs and doing another playthrough, just looking on over like a bandit camp or something, and just have a demolisher jump up off the into the building.
Yeah,
gotta be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I do think I basically found out that they've got most of the code for like making custom zombies and making, even having the ability to make custom like jump code and that kind of thing. You're pretty much limited to only the AI that's already written. You can't write anything new, and so because of that, it really sucks that like you can't go in there and actually improve that. So for the most part, they're going to behave similar to some of the other zombies, but because they look so different, it actually works pretty well. They're pretty creepy looking as they're scaling the buildings and whatnot.
Yeah,
I'm actually really glad I sort of managed to nail in
a
a pseudo
pseudo
method
method
of
of
doing the
like if you stay in a zone
for a long enough time, zombies kind of got hit. I'm really glad that I figured out that because I've seen that in a lot of mod suggestions on Nexus.
Yeah.
So
that's a really
that's a
nice
really
feature.
nice.
And I have confirmed the nice thing is that you can clear areas as well. So if you have co-op, then that really lends to clearing out spaces as well. But I'm guessing people are going to want to turn down. Before everybody was trying to turn up their viral levels or their volatiles. I'm guessing people are going to start wanting to turn that back down because the difficulty for like night is so high now that it's just like it's crazy.
I have the
The
I forget its
I forget
exact
its
name,
exact
but
name, but
it's
it's
basically
basically the
more
more
zombie
zombie
mod,
mod,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be hilarious.
I have
I have the
maps
maps like the flooded version on, and
Interesting. So wait, are you're using I Am Legion but also using or the zombie mod?
more
more
zombies.
zombies maps. Yeah.
Interesting.
Do
So
Do
people have
people have
problems
problems
doing
doing
it
it
before
before
something?
something?
no, so I actually I wrote all this code that actually does it a little bit differently, but it does more. So that's in the config file. So I was just kind of curious. It will for some people it's broken the spawns, but if you can see my screen here, there's now a section in. Well, it's been in there for a little bit since point six, I think, that you've been able to essentially go in and do everything that you were able to do with some of the other mods that were out there. I haven't looked at most of those, so I can't guarantee that. But you can use these density settings and the spawn logic built into the mod to set all of that. So if you want it completely flooded, you can do that using just the in-house settings now.
Yeah. With both the dying games, I always wanted like a World War Z experience.
Yeah.
So I loved when both their mods came out.
Yeah.
And especially this one for the running zombies. Amazing.
Have you tried Toots's World War Z mod yet?
No, I haven't tried that.
Yeah, so he's trying to do well, it's similar, but it's different in the sense that he's trying to mess with he's trying to make the daytimes more like World War Z kind of thing. Um, and so it's similar, but it's a little different. So I would recommend checking that out if you really liked that game. I know he would appreciate the feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So I'll definitely go. I'll definitely be trying.
So there's the crosshairs. I gotta get together a list of things that I want to turn off in the GUI immediately. It might take some time to dial it in for each version. For the inhibitors, so I really appreciate the feedback as far as increasing the time and actually trying to make that more difficult instead of just upping that. I think the challenge is here is I'm not sure I have enough time to influence that right now. So let's see, or to do that right, but let's see.
I actually have a few.
They still have the same.
Yeah, so they carried over from the previous game, and they're still referring to it as Inizen. And for the Nightmare mod, which is interesting because based on what people are telling me, and this new game plus thing, they're not actually seeing the Nightmare difficulty. Have you seen the Nightmare difficulty yet?
What do you mean?
On your second playthrough, did you see an option for instead of like easy, medium, hard? Did you have an option for Nightmare?
Was this the most recent update?
No, it's been in the code since day one.
No, I haven't seen it.
So they're probably going to do a difficulty update at some point.
Well,
That's gonna be fun what they themselves do for that.
Yeah. Okay, so now on the inhibitors, which I think pretty sure that those are in inventory. Maybe in collectibles. I wonder also for setting the different things with the inhibitors. I think one of the problems is that the inhibitors might not be able to be set for people that have already done them. So if they have a save game where they've already used the inhibitors, and I'm saying, Void, if you could elaborate on this, what your thoughts are. So I see three phases of inhibitors, and values associated with those inhibitors that look like they're about 30 times, or first one's from 1 to 30 and the next one's to 60. Do you think that that's based on a level cap at like level 10 or whatever? Like, can you think of any way that that would be used?
Thirty 16 you said, right?
Yeah, it's 1 30 60. I haven't had enough time to play with the actual inhibitors to know the different things here, because I'm guessing there's a whole bunch of Do you have any idea how many inhibitors you can get in the game?
So
I'm
I'm
assuming
presuming
with
with
the
a
new
new
game
game
class,
class,
you
you
should
should
be
be
able
able
to
to
get
get
all of
all of
them.
them.
But current,
I mean,
more of them.
more
But
of them, but
right
right
now,
now,
I
I
believe.
believe
Quick.
quick. Okay, yeah, you can get 126 in. And then if you do the math, of course, that's not enough to get your stamina max levels.
Yeah.
Will strength next level up. So they're gonna do that new game plus information. But
Yeah.
I see.
So that's interesting. I see where I can limit the number of inhibitors. I'm not sure that would work well because they're hidden throughout the game. So I'm not sure limiting the number of inhibitors would work. But I also am not seeing where they are. Here's inhibitor prototype. There's nothing. It's basically just the mesh. Probably in buffs. Sorry, you were saying. I didn't mean to cut you off there. It's not a buff. Then of course there's the potions that you can take. Okay. I will add this to the list for 1.0. I think I'm going to leave this alone for now so that I can learn a little bit more about it before I pull any triggers. So let me go back and focus really quickly on the HUD. Go back and focus on the HUD really quick. Right there, they've got the I've got the pistol and the rifle already coded into the GUI. So I can't imagine it's going to be too long before they add that in there.
Well, people are getting what they wish for.
Yeah, actually, I was very shocked that they didn't include it, considering the engine. If you look at like the engine that they've been using, they built the engine to play shooter games, and so most of their code is originally developed for shooter games. So
I've seen a lot of games where it's been like a shooter or a slasher or whatever,
yeah,
and they use very different bases for their code.
Yeah.
And like example Payday 2, they it's like a dropping game, place game,
right.
and they use a racing game. It's very weird because their car controls are absolutely horrible. But
Life bar would be nice. Entering new area, immunity. He is killing. I feel like with that immunity widget though. I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, if you get rid of the immunity widget, I mean, isn't that like kind of a problem? Because once that countdown is 0, like you die pretty much immediately.
well, not immediately. Have you experienced? It's more of like it's like
Yeah, it's a drain, but
yeah,
I'm just saying, like, if I was like, if I had no way of preparing, of knowing, like, I have 5 minutes and I'm going out to do a mission, like, I need to know a little bit that, like, okay, if I go into an area where there's absolutely no UV, that, I'm going to die.
That's why people have been suggesting like adding a watch to look at that, like
Right.
watch. But I
Right.
don't know if that's possible with the team.
Well, they've asked, and I guess my question is does it actually show that on the biomarker?
You'd have to go to a co-op like session to find that out. I don't even know if they'd show for co-op, even if it did.
Right. I have no idea.
Free cam that anyone has made for this game or otherwise.
Yeah. Because I don't know if that's on there or not, and so because of that, it's kind of a question of like, yeah, possibly if it's showing like a real time tick down on there, then sure. But if it's not showing that, then it'd be kind of hard to gauge.
The only reason if it didn't show the only way I've seen like trading your own videos and everything.
Yeah.
Syncing up that's a little.
So it's a small amount. See, I can't even get like basic things working on some of these things. The ones you're like, oh yeah, that will be like, that's not a problem. I'll be able to do that one. Yeah, I can't even get those to work most of the time. So I don't know. Let's see, float HUD on.
What is this game actually coded on? I would assume it's some kind of C extension.
It is, and then their little loaded in SCR scripts are like their own custom system. So it follows some logic, but it seems pretty simple. Like it's got Boolean values, string values, float values, integer values, and that's pretty much it. Some of them like don't make sense. Like whatever directory they're using for coding some of these things, they've hidden some of it to where it's like, they've got like color and but you can't just like create a color definition and inject a it's just like I'm having to make exceptions left and right on stuff.
That'd be very nice because you could like an alternative to the watch, you could do like a screen shader, almost like a purple go inside your screen, maybe.
Right.
To just indicate like average, yes. Because if the character wasn't actually looking at his watch 24/7, he wouldn't. That's kind of
Yeah, it's kind of an uphill battle on some of these things. It kind of just depends on like I know for this update, it's well over 20 hours at this point for this one, and I think most of that code I had to throw out um, because I couldn't get it working. I mean, maybe I could get it working if I threw in another one, like another 20 hours, but like it's like is that is that worth it? Is it actually going to work? Like if I just had the exposed logic, I could do most of that. Is it worth rewriting the entire freaking system? Probably not. I want to make the game more fun. I don't want to, rewrite their entire system. So there's a fine line there, I think.
Another thing is what do you think about stopping the menu from freezing your game? Like having a toggle for that? Could that be a thing?
For like timeout when you do inventory kind of thing.
Yeah. Inventory, could you like not? Could you like add a toggle for it to not do that?
It's probably a time scale thing. So they've got like a time scale associated with the GUI. Let me see. I've never had anybody ask me that. So let's go in here and say I'm gonna try a time scale. Just see if there's something in here for time scale. I work primarily in the Unity engine for my work, and that's a pretty common one to where you just set the time scale to 0 if you do something that you want to freeze time. It's easy to stop. Like for example, they did that in Skyrim. They did that in Fallout as different mods that you could get, which were great. If you know where the variables are to change, you fix it there, and it's sometimes it's even like one line of code kind of thing. You don't even have to really do a lot of work. But if they don't provide any of that, and like for example with the new zombies that I was working on, I'm pretty sure it's because they have their own editor, and I think it's because they're actually building. It's called building. I don't know if you work on the game side, but you do build on your application and your software or whatever, and it basically compresses, compiles, does all the stuff it needs to do to make it into an application. And for some of those things, like for specific values, you want those like hidden. You don't want those exposed where people can mess with things like I'm doing right now. And so because of that, you basically just set those up to where they can't be modified. And I think most of the stuff for the AI custom AI classes and that kind of thing, it's all hidden away. It's all safeguarded so that they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I would say that's a good thing. Just consider the not very good things people would do with that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want someone to die like save or anything.
Yeah,
That's a very
my one wish, and I always wish this for Dying Light 1, so maybe if I could get on the Make a Wish program here or something, is that I really wish that they would have released the map editing tools for the campaign, because if you think I do this a lot, I worked on the Skywind project and a couple of the other projects, and I've done my own modeling and texturing and environment development and all that stuff. If I could take their map tools and actually go in there and take the time to make bases and stuff like that, like that would be it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you could basically do that.
I would be in there, making
Hey, what a new DLC that I could do here.
making like marshes and moats and spike pits and just all sorts of stuff.
I'm sure eventually someone finds a way to just decompile the entire game itself. that's gonna be a thing that happens. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Techland might get on. Techland will most likely get someone's back for that.
Yeah.
If anything happens. But I'm guaranteed there's some copyright code in here and such.
So
Supposed to edit.
So there's that. Let me go through and just check my notes really quick. I did not get to the crafting system, even if I wanted to look though. Never even got really a chance to look. So I'm going to have to just put that on the back burner. But people were telling me that basically so their dismantle parameters don't exist. So did they do away? I apologize for this probably amateur question here, but I have not. I've been focused on the AI since the game released. I haven't gone through the inventory systems and all of that. But is it correct to say that they did away with dismantling weapons altogether?
In the UI, it's still there at no code itself, but in the UI, it's completely gone.
Okay.
There's the only way you can get a good weapon from dropping it, or if you notice when they break, they just drop on the floor automatically.
Yeah.
So,
Huh.
I feel like that's a bad part. Like at least let me swing around a broken sword that does seal damage. That's all.
Well, and that's that they did it based on basically they just scaled down the damage if it was broken, for the first one. I'm not really sure why they decided to get rid of that. So the crafting system, the legendary weapons, those are also empty. There's no such thing in here right now. They have like some quest ones that they've made, but so I think part of 1.0 is basically going to be all inside of this like loot and inventory system. But I think that's going to have to wait. Yeah. It's getting late on this side, so that's definitely not today.
Another thing we could talk about after that is the shopkeepers and such.
Yeah, the vendors. That's where I was. That's where I was going next. Let's see, trading. Because I'm pretty sure everybody was saying things about like the price managers and stuff like that. Those are super easy to modify.
Yeah.
And so
they're saying that because once you get to the end of the game, you find some nice looting stuff. We don't really want to pay 50,000 for it.
Oh yeah, no. For the first game, I completely redid the entire monetary system. The problem with that is that I then had to support every new DLC weapon, because basically I would make pipes worth like $3 or $4, right? So then, I would create this whole monetary system that was built off the idea that you had $76 so you could buy some ammo or whatever you needed. And then they would release like a DLC weapon. And before I could get to it, that DLC weapon, if they sold it, it was now worth $12,000 or whatever. So if my monetary system downed all the prices on everything in the game and they released new content that was now super high, then it basically just ruined all of that.
You just have people ignoring that aspect completely and just taking it 22,000 down and shopping on the phone.
Yeah.
Simple stuff.
But what I can do as a fast pass is say, we go in here and say price manager params, and then all of these were based off of the first game, so I've already reviewed everything here. They're all like super straightforward. They didn't really change anything at all from the first game. Empty. As a matter of fact, I've always been horrified by the amount of things that have been left in here. Valuable items, sell price, ranged weapon sell price, melee weapon sell price. price, common item sell price. So they're doing 8% for ranged weapons, 8% for melee weapons, full price for valuable items, 10% for common, 10% for color items. What was the deal is that people wanted their weapons, even their poor weapons, to actually sell closer to their worth or something like that. What was that, Void? You broke up there for a second.
Oh, I was. Could you address the anomalies in
In the buildings, in the abandoned buildings? No, because I'm pretty sure that's based on their spawners. But if you use my config file, all of the building code on the density settings should be this hub and OWA spawn code. So if you set that higher, lower means more, higher means less. If you set that one higher, it might fix that issue, but I think it's actually based on this special spawn distance. So what I've been doing is I think what's happened is that in their little spawners, which all those prefabs I can't fix, that's all baked into the engine. So even like that broken howler, I've been trying to fix that stupid howler since 0.3.
It's so fun just to like try to run across the fast thing across the head, but jumping on it.
He's all the way baked into the game. He's all the way in there. I haven't been able to actually fix him yet. So
the smoke zones. You just look up at your head. It's like 10 bars up there.
let's see. I'm trying to crawl back quickly over their mod requests here because there have been so many conversations. Okay, here's we go. They already sell for 1 to 200 coins. More expensive it is for selling. Standard weapons sell for about 1 to 5, no matter the rarity, because they have them all set to this color item price sell mode. Because they didn't. Oh wait, well it's because they didn't add this stacking. They only did this for purchasing, not for selling. So in the future, I might be able to bring back their sell value based on their color.
Based on what you've been seeing, has there been any like new little additions to the platinum weapons that are like seeing that they're gonna bring them out in a bit?
They've got some like Easter eggs that they've been adding, but for the most part, it's been kind of quiet on the. Let's see. Actually, let's just say sell. Instead of searching for that. No, I think that they're getting ready to. I think they're getting ready to make some major updates here not too far down the road, and I think they're going to address some of these things, but I just have no idea how much they're going to try to actually do here. So they've got the price managers. Basically, that's wise, because the sell price on hard is like it's 001.
Yeah.
So it sells for nothing.
Yeah, you can sell like a top tier weapon, tier 9 for like 2,000. I think
that makes no sense. I'm gonna. All right. So let's see here. Okay, so based on cost of ranged weapons are going to be valued higher than melee weapons, because a lot of melee weapons are going to be. There's going to be more common on the melee weapons. Ranged weapons are going to be more desirable. So if you sell them ranged weapons, they're more likely to give you more money for a ranged weapon. So finding ranged weapons is more desirable. Let's do 25% of the weapon's worth. Melee weapons are going to be more common, so therefore, but let's up that a little bit so people are happier. And then common sell, let's actually drop common sell items. I don't know if people are going to love that, but let's make it to where you can't sell trash for more. And actually, that being said, let's go up on melee weapons because bases would want weapons. So if they have a base and they're trying to defend a base, they would want weapons. Whether they can give a lot of money for that, I don't know. So color item sell price, if it is a colored item, it should sell for more than a standard item. So to see that reflected, let's go up to 30 for that. It's a third of its price. Level, factions, price multiplier, survivor price multiplier, nothing. So it's just their 1-to-1 all the way through. Prices never go up. Selling gear. If you sell your gear, sorry, go ahead.
I think that's supposed to be like. I think they might have plans to implement like if you side with the survivors more, you get better prices, better stalls over there. But I think that's probably most likely dropped, at least for now.
Gotcha. Let's see. Installed mods, sell price modifier. So if you have mods on your weapon, so if you are trying to buy, I guess you probably can't buy weapons that are already modded, can you?
No.
I guess they're going to try to add that in the future. If you try to sell a weapon that has been modified, then you currently get 50% of the weapon value. That seems fair compared to these other ones. Okay. So on easy, nobody should be playing on easy, so that's solved. On this hard level, let's go in here and say for hard, let's go in here and say, but technically these should stay the same because nobody should be playing on easy anyway.
What do you don't want to? I can't even explain it. So, like the only time I've seen people play on easy is either nuke the game or just start up and just be hard.
Sure.
Or they are like farming trophies.
Sure.
That's that.
Well, I have nothing against them playing on easy other than it breaks the mod. So I have nothing against anything, against the new player. I'm just saying the mod will literally not work on easy. So
When you're downloading a mod to make the game harder, you should probably be playing on a pretty decently hard
mode. You're probably already looking at your second playthrough or whatever, and so let's see. Limited 12 to 40. So people were talking about the crafting, max zone level, max level status, weapon pools. How have you felt overall about like the weapons and like being able to buy weapons at certain level and that kind of thing? All that seemed.
With the recent updates to the shop, they seem more available. But one thing I definitely want is, recently they nerfed the underwater loot drops and such. Bringing those back, maybe. Not. I would say they were good back then. I get them coming up, but they definitely overbid a bit. Sure. Same thing with the loot box around the map, with like some of the GRE crates and etc.
What are you? Oh, comic.
Have you played through the game multiple times yet?
I have never played through the game, if you can believe that. So I played through the beginning. So people have been asking me to make this mod since Dying Light, like back in like 2018. or 19, people have been asking me to mod Dying Light 2.
I mean,
And so,
pretty popular
so
in the original game.
I had the original concept of like what I wanted the game to be back before they released it. I played it long enough. I played a good solid like 15 hours of the game kind of thing to get the general concept of what they were going for. And I just wasn't immediately floored with the difficulty and a lot of the other things. And so because of that, I was sitting there going like, okay, you know, let's just start looking at the code. And then I started crawling through the code, and that led to all the wonderful ups and downs of modding this thing from there. And so, because of that, I haven't really had the time to play. I've been modding pretty much nonstop since it was released, and what I'm planning on doing is I do realize the hiccup with that, but I've played enough to get the concept and to understand the AI systems. And so because of that, the main focus of the mod is on the AI and making an improved AI system. And kind of the goal is to improve some of the systems where I find the weaknesses in the code. And then once I release 1.0, with everybody's feedback, get a good stable, then I'm going to continue the mod past 1.0 to take on things like inventory and trading and all these other things in a more direct way to try to write new systems and all that good stuff. But I'm waiting to do a full playthrough with I Am Legion Reborn 1.0. So I'm actually kind of excited because I will get to have played the game all the way through for the first time using my mod. So, you know, for me, I'm excited to be able to do that instead of playing it all the way through and being like, oh, you know. A couple of people have told me that, you know, they love, you know, a lot of people were excited about the storyline and, you know, said it was good. And then some people have been like, it was okay.
Well, the thing with that is, I think people have, like,
You remember
you remember
Dying
Dying
Light
Light 1
storyline? The
the
final
boss
boss
fight
fight
was
like
just
a
a
quick,
quick,
A quick time video?
yeah,
just it was.
It was terrible. I was like, are you serious? Like, we played all the way through. I think my favorite part is that you play the game with co-op all the way through, and then the last scene, disconnected. Can't play through co-op. Sorry, can't bring your friends on this. Sucks to suck. I couldn't believe it.
I will say this time they did better than that.
and
And I feel most people who play the game these days, a lot of people play the like new RPGs around with amazing stories like Elder Scrolls or any of those new really amazing RPG games with long lasting storylines and such.
Sure.
And they just I don't want to say they expect a lot out of this game, but I will say it could have done with a bit of improving.
Sure.
But they
will
definitely from what you saw from the 2019 preview, they went through quite a few rewrites. It is quite a few.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think they you know, that reminds me. Okay, let me confirm that those are turned off. Those need to be turned off. I think I got them, but let me make sure here. I can get rid of that now. And we are going to get this released because we're going on midnight here, my time. So let's see. Added better trading, sell values. And then fix for timer for section. All right, so that is everything there. Let me make sure that the one thing that I did want to confirm before I release this is I don't want the special infected showing up in the stupid GUI anymore because there's so many of them.
You don't like the 10 health bars in your
So the boss health bars, that's different. I'm just talking about the special infected showing up as an icon in the top bar. Now with the boss health bars, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, yes, I do not like the glitch of there being 8 of them. What I will say is that I'm impressed that their system can do it. Because I don't think they ever intended 8 of any of those to ever be spawned for the average player ever.
No, but so you haven't got to the section yet where they start appearing in
The corruptors, yeah.
I'm sure you've seen some videos or such on it, but
Oh no.
it's amazing because if you play Nigerian anomalies, what those individual guys do is they spawn zombies on their board.
Right?
So they have their own zombie spawns that they bring up around them. So having 8 of those, it's absolutely hilarious how many zombies you get, and it's fun because there's really it's annoying, sure, if you have like a good section you die of it. But I'd say it's fun because there's not much to do in those sections specifically. So
Gotcha.
if you could remove the boss health bars, I feel like it could be forgiven because there's not really much to do in those areas after they're destroyed. So
Gotcha. So it would need to be kind of like an end game trigger more than anything.
yeah. Well, it is with how the story goes. I actually haven't had them spawning in the intact buildings only after they've been destroyed by a part of the story.
Oh no.
I just don't want to spoil anything.
Hang on one second. I'm getting a crash that I did not have before. That is not good because I just got everything running. So we got the toggles, got the icon fixes, everything was working there. I thought it would have been the trading stuff, but that didn't fix it. So let's go in here and say kill the GUI edits. It's gotta be, I didn't hook up the stuff to the config. With that being said, I probably should have, instead of setting those values, I probably should have just set that stuff to the config so that people could change cell values. Of course, I'm sure a lot of people would just cheat and set the like 20 times.
Oh yeah, there's already mods out there that do that. It's actually one of the popular ones. It sets the shop all the gold here.
The gold vendor or whatever.
Yeah. There's one of them that's made by a German guy. It's just visual and locked to a nuclear atom thread. I think he's like up like 3 times because of negative views. But
all right, this needs to load. If this doesn't load, I'm gonna. Okay, so it's one of the things on the GUI that I removed, which I don't think I understand why that would be, but interesting. Okay, so let's add some things back real quick and make sure that this is working as expected. So let's get the trader back in there. Trading's back in. It's always something. Right here at the end.
Never goes smoothly.
Well, it went smoothly back in like 0.1 because it was like you could do anything to make it a little bit better. I was looking at some of my videos the other day from when I first started and playing, like, back then it was like you climb down, you just get out of the hospital, you climb down or you jump down onto the top of the truck, you run a little bit forward, and there's 3 zombies. Ooh. And now, trying to take those 3 zombies and make them run at you. That was the first step. Yeah. And so then it's like, okay, now I made the zombies run at you, but then it was like making them spring at you and do all these different things. It's like, ooh, okay. And so then like you watch these videos and it's like, now they follow you. So now we have zombies that follow you. Ooh. And now if you make noise, they'll like move towards you. And so it was just like such like simple like little things like, I'm gonna go add this and it'll make them do this. And watching those early videos is kind of like, I really enjoy now doing the default videos compared to the mod, because I'm sitting there going like, it's like shocking. It's like night and day of like, it's obvious. Look at this. You can just kind of stand there and barely walk in circles and they'll never kill you. It's like, okay. Sorry, that's my little tangent. So let's see. So it's just the HUD, and my guess is that it's just this configuration file that I put in there. Because one of the things that really sucks. So one of the things I put in there is essential, or one of the things I got rid of, I guess, is essential. So if we get rid of all of these, could be the. If I ever tested after I can't remember if I ever messed with the color or not. Sorry, you were about to ask me something, I think.
Have you ever any like problem reports with the banshees like protecting you through walls and in safe zones and such? You're under UV, like constant screaming. That has happened to me.
Fun. So it's where they're chasing you even though you're in a base?
So they chase me, and then there's these times where they just constantly like scream, just even when you're out of range, like until you kill them. So.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, so it was that file. So that's the crash. So I can at least start there. Well, I think probably you're not going to like some of my update then. If you didn't like that. Because I did figure out, I'm actually pretty happy with it. I figured out how to make them stalk you kind of thing. And follow you.
I don't personally see it. I can see other people see it as a problem, but for me, it's mostly is this a bug or not? I couldn't tell.
Well, for those specific ones, were there specific bases that was the case, or was it always kind of thing?
It was not nothing like the bazaar or anything, but those little sections of doing the windmills and such around the area.
Yeah. I think it's because of the detection distance. I've increased the radius for their detection, and so more than likely, what's happening is that they're detecting you, even though you're inside of a safe zone. They're probably either hearing you or detecting you, which probably just means I need to continue to work on the line of sight issue. So that way you have the line of sight is actually stopping that, because otherwise it probably is going to cause that issue. So, dang man, I thought these were all pretty standard. I guess the only one I changed really that I didn't understand is like the smoke symbol. No idea why that would.
Smoke symbol be?
Exactly. I really didn't know what that one was. I just, I saw it and I was like, smoke signal. Okay, let's get rid of that. So I guess what I'll do is I'll just do my standard trial by fire, you know, and just eliminate. Let me get rid of the stupid ones, the smoke, and see if that fixes it. And that one other one I changed. But yeah, so what I'll continue to do is do me a favor, keep an eye on that. Basically, the new code is if you, to give us some of it away, is like if you get spotted by a screamer. Originally, I was looking at doing away with chase mode, so I turned off chase mode so that it wouldn't cause the outpouring of spawned zombies, but rather it would just bring the whole map down on you. And I was balancing that for a while, and I liked it, but at the same time, it was not as intense. The music didn't play. You didn't feel like the oh shit, I gotta go. It was more of like I can maybe fight my way out of this, and I kind of liked that. But at the same time, it did kind of lose some of its like, you know, I am Legion, like, you know, oh, this is insane difficulty kind of thing. And so because of that, I was like, I'll revisit once I get some more feedback kind of thing. So what I did was is I changed it to where now if you're spotted, the map is it's normal. You get the chase values and everything like that. They start spawning, but then also based on random probability, you can spawn demolishers, goons, banshees, spitters, all sorts of different things at different random weights. So it's never the same. You can get different ones. And because the goons are now the ground runners, so they'll just run around on the ground trying to wait for you to hit the ground kind of thing. And then it was also really fun doing a chase, but them also swinging and wiping out massive groups of guys. Like that was just a lot of fun to watch. And then now the demolishers, as you're trying to get away, they'll try to peg you off the walls kind of thing while you're trying to climb away and stuff like that. And so that adds to it. And then the Banshees, I've reworked their entire system to where they are just going to try to slaughter and dive bomb you as much as possible. Okay, so it looks like it actually might be one of these ones at the top here. Maybe it is the colors. Maybe I messed it up by doing this. No, because I'm pretty sure I tested that. Let's just go in here and say, it's hard to believe this is causing the crash. But so so because of that, you've now got this like new system though where the banshees are after you as well, but now they're like actually like stalking you. They're assigned to where they're watching you, and they'll chase you through the map kind of thing. And so because of that, which I guess while I'm talking here, let me make sure I'm actually fixing this problem here. So while they're chasing you through the map kind of thing, you have to basically get up and out. But then also, once you leave the area, they can continue to find you on the map. So if they're spawned onto the map and you respawn a ways down the road or whatever, they can come chase you across the map kind of thing and still come after you. If you go too far away, like if you spawn too far away, it will it'll despawn them. So it doesn't always work. But if you spawn relatively close to where you died, there's a good chance that they'll pop back up and come after you again, kind of thing. And I really like that. It definitely made it way more intense for me. But
it makes sense, definitely.
so, you know, with that being said, we'll have to see how that affects them trying to get in these spawn points. Just because their spawn points are some of those, you know, it's literally like a sleeping bag under a tent kind of thing, and that's it. And so I can imagine you would probably end up getting slaughtered in those locations. So if anything, people would have to spawn in at those locations and then get the hell out of there, like immediately, kind of thing. And
as soon as I heard you were upping the Demolishers, first thing I thought of, it already happened. I had it happen to me in the base game, but just the Demolishers sniping you out of midair, your glider with their rocks. That shit's hilarious. Sorry, that's hilarious.
yeah, yeah, it's got to be a typo. This has got to be some really dumb typo, a syntax error. Maybe I left off didn't close it properly. This is wait a second. Confused. This mod is getting released tonight. Determined. This thing has got to get out of here.
Driving you a bit crazy now.
Oh, there it is. Yep, yep. Nope. No, these are all, that's the original. Okay, that's the original. This is the new. I guess the question is, why are these here? I got rid of them. And then potentially it could be the comments. So I'm not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure I just tested the hell out of it though, so but potentially this backslash doesn't work with their GUI files. I mean, there is no like standard to look at to even know if those work or not, unless I can like go find where they've written one somewhere. So let's just get rid of these because there's some of them. I just realized some of them have the quotations around them. I bet that would do it. If it sees quotations possibly in one of these, it would probably throw that error. Hopefully this works because it versus going and having to zero out a bunch of files or change the alphas, this sure expedites the hell out of it. So find out. All right, save. It's up now. And then let's place that in. I did it. I'm officially at 5 megabytes. It's pretty exciting. Let's see. Thanks for coming in and just hanging out, Void. Yeah, no, I think one of the things that I thought was really funny was with the whole safe zone. People get, the whole point is that like it's a super intense, crazy world outside the doors kind of thing. And I remember when I first released it, a lot of people were saying like that they were coming in the base, that they were like flooding past the UV lights and they were coming in. And I think my favorite thing to always ask was like, did you shut the door? And they didn't shut the door. And so it's just kind of like, shut the door. they can't come in the base if you shut the door. I don't know what to tell you. Like, just shut the door. I don't know. Because I just like, it's an easy answer. It's just,
Well, a
A lot of those are also, I'd assume, there have been with the metro stations. I don't know if you noticed, they have that like one or two UV spots out front on the entrance to the metro station.
Yeah.
Then down the stairs, they don't have any. And most of the way, so there's people that farm in there. Like
I see. I see.
So what most likely angers people is when volatile just start running straight past the 2 lights and just absolutely.
Yeah, no, I think it is challenging. I was watching one person play through. Um, they did a video, and I was kind of watching their playthrough. And I think my favorite thing from the first Dying Light is that I think people got it. Like, don't stop moving. Like, keep running. Like, you can't stop. If you stop, you're gonna die. And I think that's been a harder sell for the second one because I think the second one's not very scary. And so I think people are kind of like, it's an open world game where I can just kind of mess around and do fun stuff. And so like when you install the mod and it's more of like, if you stop, you die. I think that's a hard ask for some players because they're sitting there going like, yeah, but I kind of also just want to like sandbox where I can just mess with zombies kind of thing. And I hear that. Completely get it.
Oh yeah, it's totally fun install mods that just buff the zombie kind of beyond belief and just chuck in a few names.
Right. You just Sparta kick your way through the map, just go to town. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do here is, because I am definitely out of time here. Let me go and get rid of the ones that are more obvious. Things like the crosshairs and stuff like that we'll keep. But like, let's get rid of some of these other ones for now. Even though like, I really want to get rid of the enemy ones, but I'm not sure I can afford to at this point. This is, let's see, crossbows, damages, shields. Let's undo those for a second. I don't even know what this cable indicator is.
It's most likely for the so in some of the electrical stations someplace around the map, they have the I'm stupid, but they have the cables you can slide down, and then they have like these hard steel cables where you kind of just like climb like monkey bar across.
Right. Yeah, the monkey bars.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Did a full Icarus on this one. Okay. Well. Did work before. If I get rid of that one thing, it works. Right? Guess while I'm at it, I'm going to go see if Special Infected stopped showing up. I think I found a way. I was trying to find the stupid ding every time something popped into the menu. It'd go ding, and then you up all the spawns and everything, and now it's going ding, 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 ding as you run around the map.
That's because of the nighttime encounters things.
Right.
The Volter Skull and such.
And so I think I might have fixed that. Watch it turn out to not be the HUD thing if that is the case. No,
One of the problems with that, with those specials, they also give you certain XP bonuses at night.
Yeah.
I actually went
It went to
it
like a little more players for take that or something.
Sure. I think the only problem with it is that you're now with the new spawn list. Hopefully this fixes. Hopefully I found some stuff that will fix the spawning for every player for the foreseeable future. But with that fix, you should be seeing demolishers and stuff like that a lot, like everywhere. And so the idea of like going and finding them on the map is just probably less of an occurrence. Let's see if I. Oh, and they showed up orange, so they're orange now. So I know which one they are.
There's orange and there's blue ones. Orange ones are they're indicated as demolishers or banshees usually.
Oh well, this should be based on my new GUI overhauls. You shouldn't have blue anymore.
I was personally satisfied for me from my my playthrough of Dying Light 2. Is didn't have that. They were too scared to do that, I guess.
So I did notice earlier, and I'm seeing this again. Something must have happened to the zombie climb code. They're not seeing me up on the roof. These are all virals. None of the zombies are climbing. Okay. I might not be releasing tonight after all. If this is actually, let's go in here really quick. Change spiders not climbing. And the banshees weren't detecting me. All right. Let's see here. He's not climbing. sure we're getting everything here. Make sure the files are saved. Yep. Okay, good. I think a file was missing. think one last thing I'm going to turn back on actually is I do think I actually like the howler icons. I can't believe I'm going to say it, but I think it does, if they're going to do what they do, I think having the howler icons turned on will at least allow you to watch your stealth. If the screamers are turned off, then you can't see them at all, which makes it a little bit more difficult for the chase stuff. But if I turn that to true, let's confirm that the config data is working. Okay, so that's working. The last things that I said I was going to add was the, let's take the interface and get the interface lower, actually. Say cut. Face design at the bottom. Save, and then let's do time as well. Void, since I got you, is there anything else with the config files? Well, actually, I don't even know if you knew that there was a config file based on the density conversation earlier. Have you been using the config?
There's a config. I just didn't know like the density for the I just didn't know so
Sure.
personally I just like I just use that just
No worries.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious. Oh no. Well, I just realized that this is an export float. So where is it sending this? So what is getting this? I've been using this whole time, and I didn't even realize that it was a freaking export float. So it's exporting that number somewhere else. Obviously there. And that's it. Well, that doesn't make any sense. So, change. Let's find out. All right, so say import L settings MPH, and then let's say timescale. Let's just copy this, the export timescale day equals is probably going to break the game. There's probably no way that that's actually going to work. Due to order of operations, because if it's already being exported, it's got to import. So if it's importing a number and then doing the export, that's fine. But more than likely, it's exporting per frame first. So if it's exporting the number, see, it's a weird one. And then even better, you can actually see where they're sending that file or sending that value, which makes no sense. So there's nowhere that it's going. So it's not like we can go to the... Yeah, exactly. So there's somewhere in the code that it's obviously actually being received. It's just nowhere that I can get to. So because of that, it's like normally I could just go to that location that it's sending it to and set it there. Because even though it's importing the number, I can then fix that, or I can then change that number. But so based on that time there, is there a hotkey for bringing up the timer? I can't remember. There it is. Okay, so it shows in the map. Yeah, that's about right. So then if we go in here and we say, now we should be able to go to the config and say 82 seconds. And that should probably break everything. Let's watch time fly by.
You know someone's gonna try just gonna set the thing to 1 second day, 1 second night, get themselves a seizure.
I can't, I'm sure it'll break it because the zombies, you know, they have to clear out and then load in and then clear out and load in. I'm sure the system's going to be going like, what the hell are you doing? Can't unload and load that many zombies that fast, so I'm sure. But this will at least confirm that this timescale is working in the config. I think it is. It should be. It would be. The timescale should be broken otherwise. Like, time shouldn't advance. Or the game should just crash. So this should be actually working. Yep. Yay. And just for shits and giggles, let's go see what this looks like.
I can only imagine how many times you just walked out and see that's the same exact character.
Yeah, one of the first things I tried to add to the mod, and I found all of it, is the, oh shit. Their sound is tied to that sound was tied to
I can't hear you. What sound? I can't hear you.
the chirping of the like loading into the icons. It loaded in like immediately. So it's supposed to be day right now.
Something's coming up. I think game's weird. Sunrise. But
It's night.
no, yeah.
So I mean it's working. They're running to go indoors.
It looks like the skybox seeing what the hell's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got a rate set for the box as well, I guess. It's interesting. Okay. Well, onward and upward. So there's the time consideration that's added. Let's see really quick. Let's go over here and say Nexus. And here. Yep. Literally ×5 on the file size for this update.
Yeah, I thought your one was kind of big compared to most others, but yeah, I'll happily put it on top, huh?
As the maker says intended, but change your settings from hold QT to tab. Hold is impossible. That's right. So somebody mentioned the mini game. So I need to go to the. And sorry, I was reading. I apologize. What did you just say? A second ago.
Very stupid. So I don't remember.
So there's threatening. Right. The mini game. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up for the evening, so that way I can get some sleep tonight. But I think it's just everybody's so upset about the stamina. It's the biggest thing.
Just like the stamina recharge type stuff.
Yeah. I actually could not believe that, like, because the stamina recharge, and I'll do my rant again, they made it in the code to where while you're running, your stamina regenerates at 80% per second. What? So I don't understand why running away should make your stamina go back up. So I just don't get it. So
I guess people are just used to like that. Oh, Aiden is for screw everything.
yeah,
I'm not Aiden, but
it's Aiden. You got it right.
no, not the first game. Just in the system. It's been a while. Yeah.
What's his name? You shouldn't have said. You put me on the spot. It's Kyle was the kid.
No, Kyle Crane, right? Yeah.
Crane. Yeah.
Yeah, his family was also was like this recharging running.
So
Well, people are just used to it, I guess, but something you can edit. So.
I think I'm gonna undo that one. Bring these in. Fix those problems. So your final updates for 0.9. Push that out. Go back to main, and then we will do this scary thing where we say merge into main. Actually, for that last one, well, actually, it's just the attachments. All right, and then say merge into main. This one's going to be the big one. Main. Okay. There we go. Push. Updated. And let's go ahead and start creating different versions. I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here so that I can record a quick demo video and get that out. But thanks for hanging out this long, dude. we'll have a.
It's been nice talking to you.
It's been really nice talking to you. As you may know, there's an update coming out.
I wonder how I know.
So I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool, man. I'll talk to you later.
Yep.
Hope you have a good night.
You too.